to get there and to feel as confident as I did and to feel as locked in as I did, I will never forget that fucking feeling of that first call out getting called and me not being in it. I was more surprised about not being in it this year than I was last year being in it, and that was tough on stage, being that you just got to keep it together and push it down and process it after. But that was one of the biggest shocks I'd ever endured in my life, and it was in front of God knows how many thousands of people. So that was something. 3 weeks post Olympia as of today in T-minus 5 hours, and I have been off social media. I haven't been shooting YouTube videos. I have been seeing my family and friends and keeping to myself, because it shouldn't come as a surprise to any of y'all by now, but I did not do what I was planning on doing at the Olympia this year. This is gonna be the first time I kind of unpacked that, so wanted to share it with y'all who have supported me over the years as much as y'all have first, before it went anywhere else. So yeah, leading into the Olympia this year, I feel like we added a lot of awesome size where it needed to go, headed into the show. I feel like I made a couple mistakes, and they were collective mistakes, me and Ben being our first prep together. And I say mistake, but this Olympia's really made me kind of focus in on what it means to fail, and what you do in the wake of that failure. And you can call them mistakes, but I've chosen to call them lessons this year. We learned some lessons 6-7 weeks out, and then we learned some lessons the last 5 weeks of the prep this year, leading into the peak. So, if we make them again, they're mistakes. This year they were lessons. And speaking of the mindset that we have, coming out of that, I very much so have, decided to treat it. It was a slingshot year for me. I got pulled back so we can shoot forward this year. In addition to that, placing 7th, sliding from 4th, I am no longer qualified for the Olympia this year. So I will actually be competing in not 1 but 2 shows for sure. Outside of the Olympia this year, regardless if I win the first one, which I am going to do. Fact of the matter is I got to figure my peak out, and we have a really good idea of where we went wrong in those final 5 days. We have a really good idea of what we need to do, and the weeks out, whether between starting the prep and getting out ahead and moving a little faster, and then really having 2 good hard pushes so we're not stuck having to hammer me those last 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So, all in all, I'm really confident headed into this year. And, in addition to that confidence headed into this year, I am, I'm fucking pissed off, man. I put this timer up in my gym, and I worked every day for, 300 and I think it was 42 days or something like that from last year's Olympia to this Olympia. And, I came up short. Plain and simple, I came up short of what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, and this is something that I've always really preached throughout all my preps, is keep your peace of mind. And that was, at the end of the day, something I did this prep. I kept my peace of mind from the standpoint that I could not have done anything more if I wanted to. Did everything that was asked of me, followed the plan to a T. Truly reached a new level of, I hate using the word suffering because it sounds like we're doing this hardcore thing, but, reached a whole new level of, what I'm able to endure and what I'm able to push myself through this prep whenever I needed to speed things up. So, armed with that and armed with the lessons that we are taking out of this Olympia prep, I'm excited for this year, man. A lot of people are, get down on themselves after shit doesn't go how it's supposed to, and, that's, at the end of the day, how you respond to adversity is, what really makes you. So, I will never forget that fucking feeling of that first call out getting called and me not being in it. And it was in front of, God knows how many thousands of people. So that was something. And then, the day and age that we live in, people people have their favorites and they can hide behind keyboards. So, you know, dealing with everything in the wake of it's never a good thing. And, you know, people always say, you know, stay off social media, you know, everyone's always going to have something to say. You know, it's gotten to the point where it's like me and every other top guy, you know, it's like you can't get on our phones without having like 30 people tell us how shitty we are, how bad we suck. And, you know, that doesn't affect me, but at the end of the day, you know, it subconsciously wears on you after a while. So just, you know, that combined with, you know, obviously, like I told you, it was one of the biggest shocks I've ever endured in my life, and it was in front of thousands of people. So, you know, between that and that, you know, was not in a very good headspace post-Olympia. I got home, I think, like Tuesday after the show, and, you know, Wednesday was supposed to be my first day back in the gym, and, you know, I went to the gym, you know, my gym, Labrada gym, the one you've seen me train out of and post all my shit out of for the last, like, year, and, you know, walking back in that room for the first time after the Olympia not going the way that I wanted to, you know, I fucking lost it. You know, I was not okay about it, you know, just thinking about, you know, everything that I'd done in that room for, you know, over a year, and, you know, for it to not to turn out the way that, you know, that I had wanted to, and that, you know, all the people, and the biggest thing was, you know, the way that people expected around me, you know, not living up to the expectations that, you know, the people around me had. I always say this every guest posing I do, you know, it's the biggest blessing in the world to say I get to do what I love with the people that I love for a living, and, you know, I didn't feel like I made the people that I love proud. So, you know, it was an interesting week or two getting home from the Olympia. I just really needed to come in and, you know, have that support circle that I have created around me, and just kind of, you know, unplug and, you know, get back to it. So, you know, like I said, we're sitting here 3 weeks post, and I had today what I truly, honestly would call my first real training session since the Olympia. You know, it was the first session that, you know, I wanted to be there for. It was the first session that, you know, I had fun with it, and so, you know, we're turning the page. We're turning the page. I'm about to go on vacation with my family. I get back January 15th, and the clutch is getting dropped on an off season, and I'm gonna put all these not so good feelings I have about last year into this off season, and, you know, make sure I don't feel them again. Looking forward to showing y'all how I'm gonna work through that adversity this year, and then show y'all a much different Hunter at the 2 shows that I'm gonna do, and then the Olympia, because I will qualify this year. So yeah, really looking forward to having y'all on for the ride. You know, this is gonna be my 7th year with Gasp this year, so, you know, not lost on me that I'm representing, you know, one of the best companies in bodybuilding, and have been doing so for a while. So not only want to make myself proud, but y'all proud. So, like always, really appreciate the support. Means more to me than y'all know. Really appreciate y'all interacting and following along. So, yeah, I'm gonna be pumping out a lot of content this year. Gonna do the prep series for all the shows this year. Gonna be seeing a lot more of Hunter, which I'm looking forward to. So, I will see y'all next time.